Hello, this is Amy Braun, Director of Academic Business and Science Products at Gale, and today I'm going to give you just a very brief introduction of the Gale Interactive Human Anatomy product. Human Anatomy has 125 different activities that students can walk through on their own, through their library or on their computer using their library credentials to help them study the complex world of human anatomy. All of our activities are divided into different systems or regions of the body, and professors can assign these activities if they'd like, so students can study them before they come to class. Let's go ahead and jump into the product. As you can see, this is our home page, and we have some scrolling activities which really helps grab students' attention. However, normally they wouldn't just be coming in here to explore, they would be looking for a particular part of the body. So I am going to go ahead and search for the eye. As I put that in, you can see I have 3 search results about the eye. So I'm going to go ahead and click into the layers of the eye. And this is the start of the activity page. And while that loads up, I want to give you just a little bit of a grounding of what all is on this page. First, over on the side here, we've got some content that goes along with the activity. This content is preloaded into the product. And as students move through the activity, this content changes dynamically, allowing them to get more information if they'd like about what the activity covers. Here we have the activity itself, and you can see it's very clear that students are supposed to start the activity. And then below that, we have some other tools that students or professors can use for these activities. So for example, if I'm a professor and I want to link to an activity, I can just click link to activity and my link comes up. And this link can be embedded into my LMS, or it can just be emailed out to students or maybe even other professors. If we scroll down, we can also see all of the other related activities that the product contains. So let's go ahead and start the activity so you can really see what Gale Interactive Human Anatomy is about. All of our activities have guided information here on the upper left-hand corner that will tell students what they need to do in the activity. They can move through the activity by using the arrows or by clicking on these little bubbles at the bottom. That will move through the activity as well. They can also move back if there's something that they don't think they've fully grasped. They're not stuck. They can always move back and forth within the activity. So beyond this activity that's preloaded, the nice thing about the Gale Interactive product is that it is fully interactive. So if a student wanted to come in here and didn't want to walk through the activity, they can also start just taking apart the model themselves, so they really have that investigative learning experience. They can then put it back together, and hopefully that will help them remember how all of the systems work together. They can also rotate the model, which will allow them to see what's going on from many different perspectives, which students really find valuable. They can zoom out and zoom in as well. And then once they click on the arrow, it'll come back to showing them the activity as it was written. As you can see here, the content is dynamically changing as we're walking through the activity, so students have the option of reading this content or listening to it as they're going through. They can also make this activity bigger if they don't want to see that content, or if a professor were wanting to show this in class and they didn't want to show that content, they can make it nice and big. As students work through the activities, they're going to be learning the terminology that the activity is trying to show them. And as they get to the end, each of the activities has a little self-assessment included in it, so students can assess their own progress learning the material. In this example, it's asking them to click on the choroid layer, and if I recall correctly, yes, that was it. So once I clicked on the choroid layer, it flashed green and it moved on to the next question. If I get an answer incorrect, then it will flash red and stay. So students get multiple opportunities to test themselves with these questions. And all of the activities in the Human Anatomy product have these self-assessments that go along with them. If we go back to the homepage, one of the things you can see here is that in addition to the different systems and regions in the body, Gale Interactive Human Anatomy also includes 3D printable models. So there are STL files for about 65 different body parts that if your library has a 3D printer, students can download these and have them to physically manipulate. Let's check out one more body system. So if we want to go to blood supply of the upper limb, as you can see here from this model, one of the things that this content on the side gives us is physiology that's associated with the body part that we're studying within the activity. Oftentimes we get the question, does the product include physiology as well as anatomy? The activities themselves do not, but the extra content that's here loaded for each activity on the side does include physiology information. So if we go again and start this activity and start working our way through, you can see that students are really able to grasp the 3D nature of the product as they're working through this activity. They can, again, walk through the activity like I said before, or if they really want to play around, they can start taking it apart and putting it back together again. And oftentimes that physical manipulation really does help students learn. So that was a very brief introduction to Gale Interactive Human Anatomy. If you have questions, you can always email me, Amy Braun, at amy.braun@cengage.com, or of course you can email your Gale sales rep. Thank you for taking the time to watch this demo, and I hope you get a chance to trial the product and play with it yourself.